Hi everyone. Okay, let's continue our API. So we discuss what is an API. So API is application programming interface. So API allows to communicate to systems. So especially API connect with front end to store the data, to retrieve the data. Okay, so that's the main use case. When to use API? Whenever two systems need communication, like web application, mobile apps, banking systems. So we discuss the analogy, waiter analogy. Like think a customer goes to a restaurant, waiter comes and provide the menu. So that's the front end. You place the order with waiter, and waiter takes the orders to the kitchen. Kitchen is the server, and response is provided back. Your food is provided back, right? So you execute something on the website or app. You request some data from the server, and the API takes that request and bring back the response. Okay. So front end API, backend consider as database. Okay. So main four protocols for API: get, get mean view, retrieving the data; post mean creating; put mean update; delete mean remove. So these are the main protocols, HTTP method we use. Okay, so you will be hearing word REST API, SOAP API, REST using JSON request. You can call as key value pair. SOAP use XML methods. So this is the secure way to transfer data, like check data, as especially the check data and some other banking or financial related data. Important terms you'll be hearing from your development team: endpoint, service, URL. So all refer to the API. Okay, so it's something like this. Endpoint is request. That's the payload we send requesting here. So when you come to the restaurant, right, it's a front end. You request a menu. Okay, I need a hamburger. I need a burger or something like that, right? So that's a request. So request here, data sent to the server, right? Response back, you get the food. Okay. So you will hear the word header. Header is nothing but it's go on the request. Payload, this is the JSON request. This is how the request is going. Key value. So key is the name, value is the John. City is the key, value is Toronto, right? So this is how the request payload goes. Input parameters, you can see the user ID. So these are the different keywords you will hear on the when you start working on the API related user story. So again, it's referring to the field. In simple term, we can call as a field. So here you see user ID 101. Okay. So JSON, you see again, it's a key value pair. This is how the API request is sent. So XML is another file format which is used in SOAP. You can see this is how it's mapped. Okay. So key value pair we discuss. Name is the key, value is the John. So when you send API request, you supposed to get some response. Like you order food, you should get some food, right? Whatever you order. So 200 consider when you submit a request from API, you will get the response. If it is success, if the data is retrieved or data is deleted, updated or created, you get 200. Okay, that means success. 400 mean bad request, something missing. 500 mean the other server is not available. Or wherever you are pinging, that server is not available. Okay, so you have seen on the website 404 note 404 bad server is not available or system is not available. Those are APIs try to communicate with the system server. The server is not available or not, the dependent services are not available. Okay, Those are the status code. You don't need to remember anything. But when you are writing user story, I'll show you one user story how to write, so you can capture this one. Okay. So input validation error. So you see, if the name is required on the request from the front end, if name is missing, so the API can give you 400 error. Okay, it's a bad request. Name is required. Okay. Uh, okay, that's it from theory perspective. So you know the front end. So front end here you can see these are the mandatory fields. Okay, this is our customer. I'll show you the database first. We don't have anything. We submit this one. Um, so when we send this request, we are sending a request through API. So it's stored in the database. Okay. Type error here. So here we are requesting post. So remember this one. So go to the note here. Post mean we are creating something new. Put mean we are updating. Get mean we are fetching. Delete mean we are removing. Okay. So we'll execute this all quickly. So you saw front end. So API method. So let's create new record. Uh, okay. So we're here behind the scene, it's calling the front end. This submit button is associated with integrated with the post. Okay, so that's why when you click the submit button, the record is created here. Okay, so but when you are testing manually, you can test using a tool called Postman. Okay, so let's complete this one. I'll show you the Postman tool also. Okay, so now we created two records. One is from front end, one is from the API. Okay, so next you want to get details. You can click this one so you can see to your record. Okay, and put when you click this one, the first record is updated. When you click get, this is updated. Right, the name is updated. When you click delete, first record is deleted. Okay, the second record. This is very easy, guys. Okay. Talking about Postman, when you are doing API testing, tester will use a tool called Postman. Let me see. Let's show you the Postman. Okay. So I hope you guys can see the Postman. So this is the tool called Postman we use for API testing. So here you can see we have get, post, put, delete, all the method. Inside the body, your request goes here and you just simply click send because my server is not running on local. So that's why it's giving connection error. Okay, so this request is invalid. Okay, so this is how, because when software development, front end is developed separately, API is developed separately, then integrate together. So if you are working on API related user story, your tester will use, because front end is not available, the submit button or cancel button is not available. So your tester is going to use Postman tool to test the functionality of the API. Okay, so he'll be asking what is the URL? URL is this one, or endpoint. What is the request? So request goes here, JSON key value. So you don't need to provide, the developer will provide this one. And when you click, what is the expected response? Response will show here 200 created, okay, 400 bad request or something like that. Okay. Okay, so here here you can see when you send from Postman, here we are sending a get request 200. Okay. So if I remove this one, let's see, we get an error. So it's not validating this one. I'll show you from the API method, right? If you don't provide the city, 400 error, right? Because it's a mandatory field. Okay. All right. So that's recap our API learning. So remember this keyword. These are the very important. These are the keyword you need to remember. Okay. So it's updating the database from front end. These four methods, remember: post for create, get for view the data, put for update, delete for delete. Okay. So testers are using a tool called Postman to test the API functionality. So when you develop API separately using Postman tool, you can verify. Okay. So how you will write user stories here? User story you can write as a requirement. Okay, so you don't need to write as a user. So you can simply write, okay, implement new API, implement new API, implement a new API. You can write in the requirement, and you can connect with the developer and ask, can you provide the sample request? So sample request is something like this. Okay. So in the Postman, I show you the, so like this. Okay, in the Postman, the sample request is like this. Okay, so you'll get the URL and you will get the request. So that's only go to the user story. So you'll write implement a new API, and method is get or post, and sample request, sample response, and error codes. Okay, here you can see get view records, acceptance by criteria. You can write all record displayed, put update. Okay, delete for the remove records. Okay, now let's take a quiz. What is API stands for? Application Programming Interface. Okay, it's the right answer. API connect systems. Can you tell me what is get method is used for? Fetch data. So it's retrieve data. Post is used for create new records. Put is used for update data, update records. Delete is used for remove records. 200 means it's a success message. Request is okay. 400 means it's a bad request. 500 means server error, server failure. JSON is a data format, okay, used in API. Last option, API connects with front end and back end. Okay, so API is the bridging layer. All right. Okay. Let's go to some questions here. Okay. The first question is user submit form, but no data is saved. Can you guess why it's happening? User is submitting the form, but data is not saved. So we have to check the API call. Payload is the request, and validation. Okay, whether the fields are missing. You have seen right front end. If you miss the field, right, it is not connecting, right? It's a bad request. That's what it's talking about. Okay. Request DB insert logs network tab. So see everywhere why user is submitting here. It's submitting, but it's not saving in the database, right? So that can be because API is not integrated properly, or maybe the input validation is wrong. So that's why these are happening. Okay. So second question, get returns empty. Check DB, API filters, environment, and endpoint correctness. Okay, because we try to review the data, we try to get the data from the database, but the data is not coming back. So when you create a record here from, okay, so this is created, right? You have to see the data. So this is a view get command. So that's why you see the data from the front end. If it is not showing to your front end, something wrong in the backend, which is the database. Okay, and see the API filter also, why it's not working. Okay, next one, why post request is giving 400 error. So missing fields, invalid JSON, validation failure. Okay, so validation failure means you didn't provide the name or mandatory fields, invalid request, missing fields are there. Okay, so you have to check that one. How to test API. So use Postman, send request, validate response, check the status code. Okay, so you see the Postman, how to use again. I will show you. This is a free tool. You can um, check the request. Okay, check the method, which because if you are the method is post and if you are selecting put and it won't work. Okay, so next one, this is the request body. You see the body here. I click the body. Okay, so it's key value pair and check the request. So if the credit score is mandatory and if you are sending like this and it won't work, okay, because you are missing a field. And when you click send and in the response body, you can see what is the error code you are using because my server is not running. So that's why you don't see any validation. Okay, so that's what it's talking about. Next one, how to test API we talk about, right? Put was post. So post create new record, put update existing record, right? You know that. Data is not showing on UI. Why? Front end is not calling API. Caching issue, state not updated. Okay. Um, to move a little bit up this one. Sorry. Yes, I'm not able to scroll this one. The seventh question, endpoint, URL where API is exposed. Okay. So this is the URL we are talking about. Okay. This we call as endpoint or URL. Authorization, token validation using headers. Okay. Um, we didn't talk about much, but if someone is asking what is the authorization, um, it's like the key. Like, let's say you want to connect to another site, another server, you need a username password, right? So that's the authorization token. So here you can see we don't have authorization here. So the key authorization token will go there in the request. Okay, so we need to have authorization username password to connect to the other system. Question number 8 and 9. So 500 error. So server is not working, database issue, code failure. Okay. All right. Um, let's wrap up our API lesson. So again, just remember this 4 method and see if you can download Postman. And you need to have a mock API to work on, but at least remember these 4 methods. Okay. So that's all for today. Thanks everyone.